Okay, so today I'm going to show you exactly how to draw this and then get a engraving like this on stainless steel. Alright, so what we need now is an SVG file. So I've already created one from that PNG. Yes, there we go. That's our file we're going to use. I like to set it to a number that I will easily remember, which is now in my case 200. And the first thing you want to do is copy it. So we'll copy and paste. Reason for this is so that if you do mess something up, you have an original that you can work from. Now we need to release this as it is currently a compound vector. Release, you get this mess. All you need to do is set it to score. Now the difference is that you can now select all these little parts all on its own. Okay, we're just going to be doing the coloring, so you can already literally click the outline and delete it. This will leave you with everything you want to do the coloring. Okay, so now first off, we will just start to select parts that we want to color. In my case, I want to turn this into blue. I'll hold in the shift key so I can select all of these together. When you've got them all, you right click and you just select blue. So I see I've got some internals here that's still black. Just go and click them while holding shift. And you turn them also blue. So I'm going to quickly try and finish all of this. There's one, there's two. And we do exactly the same thing on the other side. Here we go. Don't be afraid to actually just change whatever you've selected so far and then reassess. Sometimes like copy all these things and then you click out and you lose it all. Okay, so I'm seeing a bit of green for the body. So same story, just select all this stuff. Don't gonna be too worried about the internals right now, just the major outside ones. Maybe that little one. Let's see what happens. We'll turn it into green. Now a quick little pro tip. If you now go and you select the green layer and you open your layers panel and you hide your green layer, then you can easily select all these inside ones. Do them as well. And as you select and do them, they will disappear because you're hiding that layer. Just to speed things up a little bit. Now you see, now I clicked out. Let's do it this way. And there's one little one left here. And see if you did everything correctly, you can unhide that layer. And at any time, you can just click your layer and say engrave, and it'll color the whole thing in. See if I can test with the blue. Same story. Set it to engrave. And you can see there we've got a bit of a problem, don't we? Good thing we've checked it this way. So we go to blue, go, and go and fix what we've actually left behind there. Oh, no, man. Amateur hour. There we go. So if you now go on blue again, you click engrave, you should be good. Okay. Now, one thing you will see though is there's no cutouts here. It's selected, but there's no cutouts. So to fix that, all you have to do is select your blue layer and click subtract at overlap. And this will now do all these little cutouts for you. And in effect, the blue layer is now done. All right, so we'll do all the same for the rest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the blue and hide it, so that I now know that whatever I want to select here, move it to yellow. Blue is still intact. See, yeah, this also needs to go to yellow. And then I also want to change this wing and swing to yellow. Okay, that's looking like it to me. I'm just going to start hiding as I go. All right, you see what's happening here? Because these have not been turned into a compound vector yet. So to fix it, what you do is you click on green and you can say subtracted overlap. And that'll solve it. See, all the little cutouts are there now. So you won't be engraving twice over one thing. This is something that I did in the beginning quite a bit. It's too yellow as well. I don't think I have. Take the yellow and we'll subtract the overlap. That's also now one solid thing. Yep, done and dusted. If you click engrave, you can see it worked. And we'll hide that and the green. Okay. So we are down to our final products now. I think I'm looking at a bit of red here. Move to red. Should be good. I'll just add that to the red layer as well. So red, we can select engrave. It's looking good. Hide it out of the way. I'm thinking of a nice purple for this. I'm going to use the purple layer in any case. Not to say that this is going to be a purple when I'm done. Sometimes these things are finicky. You have to like almost click off of it to select it. Not so nice. I see we're going to run into a little bit of a problem here. But it's actually a good thing, so I can show you exactly how we fix it. Those purple. You see what's happening here? It's supposed to be the same color as that. This is a node edit we're going to do. Just stick with me. Just finish doing the other side purple as well. We're going to run into the same trouble on this side as well. See there. But no matter. It's a good thing because we want to run into trouble while I'm still here. Okay. So the first thing to do now to fix this is to turn this into a compound vector. You can do it. Okay, maybe we can do it on its own because this is a compound vector on its own. So you can edit the node. And I would first give it a place where it can go. So we would like to give it a node there. And then I would give it another one there so that there's something I can cut out. Otherwise, it'll cut out the whole line. And I can hear some of you chuckling because this thing has given me so much trouble in the past. You see there's a little cross underneath my cursor that actually indicates that these two are now joined. You must check out theme Team X Digital, I think his channel name is. That guy's very good with this. And now we just pull this handle in to change it. There we go. That should be it, done. So if I want to release this one and then turn this to black, we should be able to do it separate. See, I've got separate colors there. Let's do the same thing on this side quickly. I'll talk you through it again. You need a place where this can join. So this can obviously join to that dot, but we'll need one for the other dot. So we'll put a dot or a node. And then we need to cut out what we're not going to use and then just connect the dots. See why you had to connect the dots when you were a kid? If you get this now and you don't want it, you want a sharp corner, you can double click this. As you can see, that can screw us around a bit more. So Control Z, we'll leave it like that, and we'll just join this one and that node as well. I don't mind that. These things, I mean, it's an organic shape. We'll still be fine. Okay, and then we just need to release this now and then turn that back to black. So we are almost done now. If we select our purple layer and we say subtracted overlap, then we turn the purple into an engraving. We can see what we've selected. I'm pretty happy with that. So I've got one more layer left. Now I've got two I can still use, I think. Now I think I'll add this one to purple as well. It just looks out of place there. So we'll do that to purple. And then take the whole purple again and subtracted overlap. That's all you do the whole time. You just use the subtracted overlap for color engraving. Here's one I missed as well. So you turn it to purple, select your purple and select it overlap. And that's it for purple. Right. Everything left, turn it into the orange layer. And we'll do the same thing. So subtracted overlap, engrave. So now you're ready to actually start doing the fun stuff. I know this can be very tedious, but hey, it's lucky when you actually get it right. But remember I told you now, so if we were to engrave this just now, these will all be just normal stainless. I want to give it almost a metallic sheen using the fiber laser, because we are going to use the fiber laser as well as the blue diode for this. I like the blue diode for almost like a gradient type color, and then if you want shimmering pearlescent type looks, then you'll use the fiber laser for that. So here we go. First thing we need to do now is to take this layer and copy it. I'll paste it there, and this whole thing is already a whole cutout of everything you've got there. This is like the negative of it. So all you need to do is move it to your layer that you want to move it to, and that's it. So to keep things from going completely wonky, just select this and make it a group. Don't make it a compound vector. It'll turn everything into one color layer and all your work will be undone. You'll have to redo everything. Or hit Control Z, obviously, but yeah. So what I want to do is select the blue layer and bring it to front. So we go right click on it, arrange, bring to front. Then you select that and your color layers, and you can just click align center. This will line your whole picture up nicely, and you can see you've got all your engraving layers now. Now, this in itself, for most people, this will already be good. I like putting a small little score line around my stuff, very lightly. So this, I'm going to still keep it, select score. I've got a stainless steel setting, but I'm not crazy about it. It's a bit too high power for me. So I'm going to change it to 70%, and we're going to change it to 200 millimeters a second. We leave it at 30 hertz. And you can again, all right, Move this to the absolute top, bring to the front. Select everything and align center. And now you see what we're gonna go. Now I've got the file that I would be actually giving out to everybody as well. This is what you want. And now, here's the secret sauce that I always do. Don't know if it really makes a difference. To me, it does. Under process, you click on that, change it to user defining, and then by layer. I want this thing to do it one layer at a time. And then you have to actually put all your layers in the proper order. So the black layer is going to be the score layer. That will always be my last one. This cyan layer also going to be almost like a score line, but with a fiber into a different color. So we'll move that just to the second to last part. Yellow, I always use the fiber laser for nice bright accents. So that's going to be the last one. I like starting with the blue layer. Then I would do the purple, and then the orange, or the red, doesn't matter, and green to the bodywork. So this is a proper order for me to actually put everything in. It's just the way that my mind is wired to actually do this. Okay, so sometimes you will do this engraving and maybe a color won't show up the way you like it, but everything else is looking the way you want. So you don't want to run the entire thing again, because it'll start maybe changing the colors that's already well to your liking. So what you would do in that case is, and you can even do this engraving from the start exactly this way if you want to take a bit more time and dial it in even more, if you're going to make a really involved engraving. But you can turn the output off for the entire file, and then maybe only the one color. Let's say, for instance, you're not happy with the red that you got, you can click on the red alone, and I only turn that on. So as long as you haven't moved this from the machine, and that brings me to another point I'll get to now. But as long as you don't move this out of the machine, and then can't reposition it perfectly, you will be fine. You can literally run this as many times as you like. Okay. I strongly suggest that you make yourself a guide of some sort that can actually help you reposition your work all the time. Later on in this video, you'll see I take this plate out of the machine, put it back, and it's always in exactly the same space. And it's a stupid little thing that you can make yourself. You don't have to go and spend a hell of a lot of money on buying this stuff from someone else. It's mind-boggling. You just need somebody with a laser engraver or cutter that actually can cut that size. All right, let's get into the settings. In all my tests I've done, I think the sweet spot for me has always been about 200 lines per centimeter. You can go 300, you'll probably get different colors, whatever, but I find it gets to diminishing returns, because you will actually run into a problem where you will end up well, just spending so much more time, because some of these colors you'll be engraving at 10 millimeters as a what should we call it, speed, millimeters a second. Most color engraving is slow, but remember, we're now doing a big one. But when you go to a pendant, for instance, which is the actual goal, do some jewelry with this. Smaller you get it, the colors will be brighter, it'll be a lot better looking, and it will go a lot quicker. Because this whole butterfly, if I do it maybe at a 50 millimeter size, it might take about 40 minutes. If I do it down to 20 millimeter size, which is for a normal little dark tag that's mirror finish that we're going to do at the end, that will actually look a lot better, because everything is going to be a lot more condensed. But you can use the same file, scale it up and down as you like. All right, so for reference, now we're going to set each layer by itself. So for the blue, I want to use the blue diode. I've got my little test piece out here. I like the blue that I got previously at 45% power. And then also a speed of about 60. Everything else you can leave exactly like it is. Now, don't forget now to click somewhere out of the blue layer and then select green. I found that I would click green here and I've still blue selected, and then I'll be setting settings from my previous layer out. Okay, so if we want green, I'm gonna shoot for about 60% power and 50 speed. So set our power to 60 and our speed to 50, and we'll stick to 200 lines. Okay, green is sorted. Now we go to orange. Now I have to decide what color I like for orange. I'm thinking I'm gonna shoot for something that's gonna be almost like a speckled color, speckled with yellow. So for me, on my test plate, I got like 65 power and 75 speed. Also at 200 millimeters. Then the purple accent. Let's see if we can get a nice looking purple out of this, which would be about 70% power and 75%. Remember, I'm using a 304 stainless steel 2mm plate. Right. So as you saw on the plate that I showed in the beginning, I've got settings for blue laser, and I've also done the other side to give me settings for fiber. So this red accent, red being as hard as it is to actually get done nicely, it's going to be 17 power, but remember now, you have to set this over now to fiber. So I'll be using 17 power at a speed of 30 millimeters a second. Leave it at 200 lines, and I like setting my frequency up to 60. This does not mean we're going to get red. Remember that. It's going to give us a color. We don't know what it's going to be yet. We're hoping it's going to be red. If you understand what I mean. All right. Yellow accents. Yellow is usually one of the colors that's a lot easier to do with a fiber layer. But I like the one that I got at 20 power and 40 speed. So we'll set this to fiber again. 20 power, 40 millimeters a second, and I'll set it to 60 kilohertz. I just keep on setting it to the highest kilohertz because I heard somewhere that 80 kilohertz is actually the nice one to have, but our machines are limited in that way. So see, so you use fiber. And then we already set the score, but I'll show it again. It's going to be fiber. I'm using 90 power and 200 speed. And yeah, I don't really mind because black is black, you know. I get black at 30, so. And there we go. Now we're ready to go. Make sure your processing settings look like this. You use defining one by layer is selected and from top to bottom. That's just the way it's going to scan. It's scanning when it's engraving, it's going to start at the top and work its way. All right, let's get over to the time lapse of actually making this. I just like to clean my stainless using a bit of 90% alcohol. Just personal preference. Okay, let's see what we get. So I would have liked to get a really dark blue color here. I think the temperature of the plate is actually messing me up a bit here because it's a very cold day for the region where I live. So I think it translates through, but we'll finish the engraving, see what colors need a bit of attention, and then reassess. Remember, we can actually do one color at a time as well if we needed to. I like the earthy look of this that it's starting to do. It's looking like a nice natural look. Strange that the fiber one is actually showing up like that, but the fiber engraving will always look almost like a pearlescent color, so we'll see. And now the most satisfying part, when it actually puts in these accent lines. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. I would be more than happy to put this on a pendant now, but for argument's sake and just to prove how these colors can be affected, I'm going to run the entire engraving a second time. Same settings, placing it in exactly the same spot, and then we just run the exact same engraving a second time. Right now we're getting somewhere. Now I'm getting the darker colors up top. Although it doesn't seem to be perfectly the same color, but you know what? Me, that's a feature. This is what's making what we're doing here art, and not just carbon copying something. There we're getting the color that I was actually shooting for at the top. But you see how much this can actually affect it, just the heat, because this plate is already heated up now from the first engraving. That's why it's taking color so much better. I have tested heating it with a hairdryer and stuff like that. It does work. It does make a difference. You can try that if you like. Heat the plate up with a hairdryer previous to doing your test grid. There you go. Yeah, I like this. I'm gonna leave it exactly like this. I think it will translate well over to a pendant. We'll see now. Yeah, I like that. Sometimes when you wipe it down with alcohol afterwards, you take some residue off, there might actually be even a hidden color, or one of the colors can come out even more. So always wipe down afterwards, especially if you did a fiber score or something on it. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. I'm gonna use it with these same settings now on a pendant. Just for reference, all three of these were done over 2 days, all with the same settings. Look how different the colors came out. So these little tags, just some cheap tags I bought off of Temu. I thought it was the bigger 50mm ones. Got scammed a little bit on it. But for me to do these little engravings on for testing purposes, it's good. You'll also see I tend to engrave off to one side. The reason I do that, I don't want the reflections from this mirror finish to actually reflect back into my laser lens. So if I'm offside, you can actually see it when you look closely. It reflects, well, off center without actually damaging anything. So, yeah. If I do something that I have to put directly under my laser, then I would put a bit of talcum powder on it. So the autofocus can actually be messed up by the shiny surface. So what I do is I just put a business card on top, focus on that. And I know this thing is about 0.3 millimeters thick. So after setting my focus, I will just go and deduct that 0.3 millimeter in my software, as you see here. Now the rest is just straightforward positioning. This is something you all can do. Don't think I need to explain any of this now. But this file is ready to run now. As always, this file is available on my design find. Hopefully color engraving doesn't make you feel like this anymore. Cheers guys, have a blessed week.